Welcome to a self-published author's diary. I am Elodie Novodatsky. I write about first times, second chances, things that scare the crap out of me, and things that make me laugh out loud. I'll be speaking with you and sharing my adventures in self-publishing, the behind the scenes of writing, and the business side of it. And before we get started today, a small message from our sponsor, Anchor. Thanks for listening. This is Monday, May 2nd. Today, I am recording this episode on TikTok live. I almost didn't do it because I was thinking, I have to be on. You know, when you're recording something live, it's almost kind of like when I used to teach. I don't want to have moments when I'm really what's happening? So I almost thought, okay, I'm just going to do it on my phone like I sometimes do. But no, here I am on TikTok Live with 3 people watching. And today's episode will be a little bit of recap for my sales of April. What has worked, what hasn't worked. And I made note cards, so I'm sure not to forget anything. The weather is beautiful, and yesterday the chemical engineer and I actually watched The Hating Game, which I had been wanting to watch for such a long time. I love the book. I love The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. It's one of my comfort rereads because I am a comfort rereader, and I really enjoyed the movie. I mean, the banter was great. I may have to rewatch the movie at some point without the chemical engineer because we did pause the movie, or he did pause the movie several times at the very beginning, commenting on, is it the right weather? How are the leaves outside? Anyhow, but the movie was fun, and we both enjoyed it. And I really, really hope that one day my books will be, the comfort reread of somebody. I mean, how great would that be to know that somebody just reaches out to your book when they want to feel comforted, when they want to feel less anxious, and they're just reaching out to your book. They want your words. They know the story already, and they just want your words to be the one that comfort them. And I don't know if that already happens for my books. I have no idea. I've never gotten an email from a reader saying, hey, your books are one of my comfort rereads. But I did get emails already from readers telling me that they really loved it and that my books have helped them through difficult times. And yeah, so maybe, I don't know. Kind of a weird transition, but the audiobook of Trust Me, Trust Me Not has been now out for about a week and a half. And I wrote Trust Me, Trust Me Not back in 2019, and it got published right before my transplant. I actually had done an entire campaign to raise money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society with that particular book. And I remember feeling so grateful that I think it was 3 of my friends who had decided to match the money that I was getting from the pre-orders and the sales during the month of September. So I was able to give a bit of money to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society during that time. And re-listening to the audiobook narrated by Megan Carter. Megan Carter is an amazing audiobook narrator, and I'm so happy to work with her on so many of my books. She's currently working on Always Second Best, by the way. She's currently recording that. But there are certain sentences that just stayed with me from that book. When I re-listened to them, it was the one that was, and I wrote it down on my little note card. It is, we all have scars that haven't completely healed. They're part of us. Some are more visible than others. And I will add in the actual podcast episode, I will add how Megan says those lines.
We all have scars that haven't completely healed. They're part of us. Some are more visible than others, but even when we do our best to hide them, we still know exactly where they are and what they mean.
And yeah, I remember that I had written those lines, but they kind of hit me right in the heart. Like when I was preparing, I actually was doing a lot of videos for TikTok for my main author account, which is Elodie Novodatsky. and where I talk about, my books and not just the self-publishing part of everything. But it was a reminder of how much I was going through at the time and how much that statement still holds today. It's amazing to hear the words you've written in a different format and to know that those words might reach even more people. Now, when it comes to marketing audiobooks and to make sure that people know about the audiobooks that, I have self-published, that I have produced and that are available, I find the marketing of audiobooks interesting to say the least. I'm trying with TikTok right now. So what I'm doing for marketing the audiobook of Trust Me, Trust Me Not, as well as the Gathered City audiobooks, is that I am releasing little snippets. I do like the page flips that you sometimes see, when it comes to marketing books. But then I add the narration of Megan for that particular snippet. And I've had quite a lot of likes and saved. The videos didn't go like super viral at all. They have like about 200, 300 views, but I do have a lot of saves on those videos and a lot of likes. So the interaction ratio is actually super high. And I've sold a few audiobooks. I haven't done a whole lot except talking about it or doing those videos on TikTok. I did also mention it to my newsletter, and I've had one person right now asking for an audiobook code, and I'm wondering if others have maybe purchased it. I'm not entirely sure. You know that ACX, when it comes to like the way it reports the sales, it's not super fast. It's not instantaneous. It's not like the KDP dashboard where you can tell when somebody has bought your books. It's not like that. It's harder, I find, somehow. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably put it on Audiobooks Unleashed, and I will add the link into the episode's description. And then I'm also using a newsletter. There is a guy who has a newsletter, and he sends audiobooks, that are available, and people, then you have the email address and you can contact everybody who has requested a code. You can send them an email. And I like that because usually he has like the profile of the people as well. So it feels like I have more control in a certain way. Like, let's say somebody who never, ever listens to romantic thrillers, and then they ask for an audiobook code, but in addition, they also never review, like you've never seen a review. Well, I'm not quite sure if I would send that person an audiobook code for that particular book. I will continue to look for more ways to spread the words. There are also Facebook groups that have like Audible, like looking for reviews groups. And I'm starting to get stage fright because I have like 6 people right now, seven watching me recording this episode. It's one of the most people that actually stayed for a little bit longer. So hi. Thank you for watching. As I said, for the Trust Me, Trust Me Not audiobook, I've done a lot of TikTok videos, and I'm going to do all those other steps. The other thing I did last week was that I had very purposefully published one TikTok video every day about The Leftover Bride from the Swans Cove Romance Series account that I have, which is a business account where there is a link to the actual book. And I did flip videos with just quotes, and I started the week at a ranking of 800,000 on Amazon. I had not done anything for that book in quite a few weeks. And it basically fluctuated during the time that I did the TikTok videos. The ranking went up to 216,000, then went back down, then went back up, but it stayed within the 160,000 to about 400,000. It hasn't come back down to 800,000 the way that it was. So I had looked at it the week prior because, you do need something to compare to make sure that you're just not comparing things that are not comparable at all. And it did seem that the TikTok videos that I have done, because that's the only thing that I've done in terms of marketing for that book last week, that it did work. People did borrow it. And I say borrow it because I didn't get any sales. So it's not like the ranking went up because somebody purchased it. But this book is in Kindle Unlimited. And it did get a few borrows. And some people, I think, started reading it because I got some pages read. It's not like mind blowing when it comes to revenue. Like right now, when it comes to revenue, that book, I think for last month got, are you ready for this? I should do drum roll. $5. Yeah, that's all I got from that particular book. This is not my best-selling book last month. Last month, my best-selling book was actually a bilingual book, followed by the Italian version of Always Second Best. Those were my two best-selling books in April. So I'm going to try to continue doing the Leftover Bride videos, but I will do it every 2 days and see how that affects my ranking. Make sure that you follow my account if you do not follow my account yet, because I do updates pretty often about how that works, if I find that it works. And maybe all those people who have borrowed it will start reading it. So that would be very exciting. Now, looking at my sales for April. So right now I'm using Scribe Count to look at my sales for April. I used to use TrackerBox. I've mentioned that in the past, but TrackerBox has not updated, so I use Scribe Count. And I have been looking at my sales for April and seeing where the different platforms are. And I also have the Kindle Vella statistics because I started publishing on Kindle Vella in March. In March, as I've mentioned in the last episode, I got a bonus of $112 from Kindle Vella with only 6 episodes up. So last month, I decided I was on holidays for 2 weeks. So I didn't really publish a whole lot on Kindle Vella during those 2 weeks. I did follow to publish at least once a week. So even though I was jet lagged, and I did after dinner, I at some point went back and worked until late in the night just to get my Vela story published, that episode. And I do not know yet what my April bonus is going to be, but I did start a second story in April, and I have published a total of 8 episodes on Kindle Vella last month. When it comes to my statistics for Kindle Vella, in March, I had 31 episodes read, and in April, are you ready for this? I have 316 episodes read. And locked episode, I had 13 episodes read in March, and in April, I have 181 locked episodes read. I had 5 followers in March, and I have now 55 followers on Kindle Vella. So I have, I think it's 41 or 40. The second story doesn't have a lot of followers because I just started it. I started publishing it actually at the end of last week. So it doesn't have a whole lot of followers. But I am not active. It's a pen name. It's very soap opera-ish. It's angsty. It's dramatic. It's teamier than what I publish under Elodie Novodatsky. So that pen name, though, I do not do anything except TikTok videos. So I have another account for that pen name. I do page flips. I had my 2 last videos on that one that got more than 1,000 views. A lot of people saving the video. So that I think actually maybe matters because I'm thinking, okay, if I'm saving a video, that means I'm going to go and check it, right? So again, later, maybe I'm going to come back and say oh, I really wanted to read that Kindle Vella. And then I have not shared it in any of the Facebook groups. I am active in the Kindle Vella author Facebook group, but I do not post about my story. I have not posted the link. I have not posted any of that information. So it's either people finding it because the genre works for them or because of the TikTok videos. So these are the statistics when it comes to my Kindle Vella story. Now, when it comes to the April statistics for the other books, I sold 181 books in April. And out of those 181, if I'm looking at the royalties earned, I sold 66.4% of those books. So that's not counting Kindle Vella. This is just ebooks, physical books, and that's it. And out of the royalty earns, that also includes the Kindle Unlimited books, which Kindle Unlimited for me, it's not working as well as I thought it would. But the royalty earned 66.4% come from Amazon, 21.1% come from Draft to Digital, and 12.5% come from Google Books. So when it comes of the royalties from those 188 books, what I find interesting is that my 12.5% from Google Books, that is rising. I'm getting more sales now on Google Books that I used to get. And then when it comes to the D2D, Draft to Digital summary, most of the books on Draft to Digital that I sold them on Apple, 44.2%. Then 32.9% came from Tolino, 9.3% came from Kobo, and then the rest is divided with the other online stores. By marketplace, 30.5% of my books were sold in Germany. And those books are mainly the bilingual books, as well as the German version of Always Second Best. It's followed by other. I'm not quite sure which countries are included in other. Then it's Italy, then France, then the United States. So again, those numbers will change once I have the information about the Kindle Vella bonus from April. If the bonus is as good as it was in March, then that will probably put the US close to Germany, if not above Germany, probably above Germany. Those are the stats from my sales in April. The other thing that I was working on was the newsletter. So I've been thinking about changing my newsletter provider from Mailchimp to Mailerlite. And the reason why was because Mailchimp was more expensive than Mailerlite. But I just also received an email that Mailerlite got bought by another company. And now I'm wondering, apparently there are changes going on at Mailerlite when it comes to the platform. Maybe the pricing is also going to change for new for new people registering. I have not registered yet, so I am not quite sure. I need to look more into it. But I'm not going to look into it right now, because today, in addition to recording and mastering this podcast of mine, a self-published author's diary, I also want to write the stories, the episodes for my 2 Kindle Vella stories. That's the goal for today, is that I have those ready to go. Actually, I want to publish one of them today for my second story, and then schedule the next one, and then schedule the other one for the other story. So that's the plan, because in May, for the 2 weeks of May, I want to finish writing Sweets for Love. My goal is to be done with Sweets for Love by mid-May, in order of make sure that I have time to reread it and then send it to my critic partners. And the reason why I want to do that by mid-May is because I'm also an audiobook narrator in French, especially for also language learning. And I have been booked for an audiobook mid-May. So I need to be doing that and making sure that I get all my ducks in a row for Sweets for Love. What writing for Kindle Vella right now has also taught me is that I can write those words, because right now all the afternoons were taken by marketing and making the videos and making sure I was following through on a lot of things, and then a lot of other things that I'm doing throughout the day. But I did manage to, even while being on holidays, write and publish about 9,000, 10,000 words. And those are just not words that I'm drafting. Those are words that are ready to be read. They've drafted them. I was trying to make up a word. I've drafted them, and I revised them, and I edited them, and I made sure they were ready to be read by my dozens of followers now on Kindle Vella. So I know I can do this, and Sweets for Love, I need to finish writing it. This book that I'm publishing in a few months, I love the cover, I love the story. I think it's going to be one of those books that could do really well with readers, because it's really fun. I think it's a rom-com, it's an adult rom-com, and people who loved The Leftover Bride will, I think, love Sweets for Love, but also people who have not read The Leftover Bride, I think, can fall in love with Sweets for Love. So I need to finish writing it. Another thing I started doing is I only did it 2 days, was to go on TikTok and do TikTok lives called Dear Diary for a self-published author's diary. So I am sharing with you the one I did on Monday, April 26th. It goes into a bit more details about my day on Monday and how I came to realize that maybe I did more than what I thought I did when it comes to writing and self-publishing on that particular day. And it has more numbers on my little The Leftover Bride TikTok experiment that I did. So yeah, here it comes. All right, this is Tuesday, April 26th, and today for my Dear Diary of a Self-Published Author, I have realized as I was preparing for the podcast recording, I've decided to record a little bit each day, and then I will, stitch it together towards the end of the week in addition to talking about one particular topic. But as I was getting ready to record, I realized that I'm not quite sure sometimes if what I'm doing during the day is enough. But then as I was thinking through my day, I realized that I did do quite a bit when it comes to the self-publishing part of it, because I only wrote, and here it's going to be different for a lot of different people, because I don't think we all have the same way of writing, the same way of drafting, the same way of revising. So for me right now, I wrote about 1,300 words. And I kind of revised them as I was going. It's for a Vela episode, the one I'm publishing, under my pen name. And as I was doing that, I was thinking, but I only wrote 1,300 words. But this morning, what I did after, my morning routine, I get up around 5:30 a.m. So after my morning routine, I started working. And when I started working, I started first looking at some of my costs when it comes to self-publishing. A course that I was taking that I decided to stop. It was like a monthly subscription, so I stopped that. And then I was looking at my Mailchimp newsletter. And if you're a self-published author, you probably have a newsletter. If you don't have a newsletter, I highly recommend you getting a newsletter. I find it very helpful to connect with certain readers. I think some readers receive news a certain way. They might be on social media, like they like to hear from you. Others might want to hear from you via their email. They want you to be in their inbox, and once you're in their inbox, I think it's wonderful to connect with them. But Mailchimp is quite expensive right now. I pay about $12 a month, and I have about 400 subscribers. So it's not like I have a whole lot of newsletter subscribers, and paying $12 a month. When it comes to the newsletter, I'm looking to switch to Mailerlite. But I'm also looking at maybe switching my PO box, because I'm thinking maybe I can find a PO box that is also cheaper than USPS. They have virtual mailboxes, so I'm looking into that. But by doing all of that this morning, it was clearly time where I was not writing. So the fact that I wrote 1,300 words about today, this morning mainly, and in addition, looked at my newsletter, stuffed a subscription, looked at the virtual mailboxes. And then what I also did is I tried to put a pop-up on my WordPress.org website, and not .org.com. If I had a .org, I could. But with the .com, it's way too complicated right now for me to add, because I don't have a business account. And every time I was asking people to maybe help me out, I was looking at, I can't remember the name of the website, but I look for it. And the pop-up just wasn't working. So I spent maybe 25 minutes with that. And I learned a few things, but I didn't write. And then I got into the writing part. But I do need to do all those other things related to the newsletter, related to the costs. I just can't. I could write, and hope that one of my books at some point just, get seen by thousands of readers, but I do need to do the marketing part of it and the talking to my readers part of it, and talking about my books and making sure that I try to have, I'm not everywhere. I'm not saying that I'm trying to be on every single platform all the time, because for me right now, I am doing this experiment with TikTok where I'm posting a video every day on my Swans Cove Romance series TikTok account. And I'm trying to see if that helps my sales. So I've been doing that steadily for the past couple of days. And it did bring my ranking first from 800,000 to 167,000. So I got some borrows out of that. But then now it's back to 500,000. I just double checked it before recording, and so it went back down. I am posting also about the audiobook that I have on my author account, and I'm cross-posting on TikTok and Instagram. And to cross-post, I'm using Snaptic. I don't have any issues with Snaptic, so if you are looking for something to actually cross-post but remove the logo, that works for me. And it's if you could see me, I know my podcast listeners cannot see me right now, but the lighting is very interesting. So today I decided that I would be gentle with myself when it comes to what I had achieved, because I have written quite a bit, and I've also did a lot of work when it comes to marketing. So I'm pretty happy with myself. As always, thank you so much for listening. I might need to do an outtakes at some point for this particular segment. I have been trying to record this thank you for listening at least 3 times. So yes, don't hesitate to subscribe, review, share with your friends, and you can also become a monthly subscriber. There's a link in the episode description. And as always, as well, if you're a writer, happy writing, and to everyone, happy reading.